Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is our Lucha Underground review. And it was a Jake Strong episode, everyone. Yeah, he got heavily featured, finally got a bit of a cinematic, with a few interesting revelations made in his interactions with Antonio Cueto. We're doing Gift of the Gods again. You know, the race for the next Gift of the Gods champion is on. And we had a main event, Johnny Mundo versus Jake Strong, which for my money was Jake Strong's best Lucha Underground match to date. And I can't wait to really unpack that as the resident Mundo mark. But in the meantime, Ashton, what do you think of this episode of Lucha Underground?
Yeah, it was decent. It was a solid episode. There was some good stuff on it for sure, and they definitely went. They put effort into making the Jake Strong character an interesting one, and it's kind of actually leaning towards the idea that one of our commenters suggested, kind of a theory that one of our commenters had a few weeks ago when we were really down on Jake Strong, and we still kind of are, but. One of our commenters a while ago suggested that maybe he would be a god character, and that's why he's so kind of dominant and no-sells everything and stuff like that. So it's definitely looking like a very viable theory at this point. So I'm I don't know if that'll completely redeem the character, because at the end of the day, like, if you were going to introduce a new god character, I feel like there were better people that could have played that character than Jake Hager in this case, but at the end of the day, they're making the best out of a bad situation, in my opinion. Golden Elite, by the way, was the name of the commenter who suggested that Jake Strong was the Order's agent sent by the Lord himself and inhabited by a god and stuff like that. So props to Golden Elite in the comment section. That was about, I want to say 3 weeks ago that he suggested that. So yeah, definitely an interesting theory, and it's looking more and more likely, and it'll definitely make the character more interesting. But again, my question isn't like, why is this character so lame? My question is, why would you go get this guy to play this character in the first place? You know?
Right. Which, I mean, I feel like we've kind of commented on that point extensively enough, so I'm just going to switch gears. Let us get right into our Lucha Underground review. And continuing the Jake Strong conversation, we open with a cinematic. We see the Aztec medallions, and Jake Strong walks into Antonio Cueto's office. And very interesting dynamic between these two. I mean, Ashton, walk us through us and give us your thoughts, because we definitely learned a little bit about Jake Strong here.
Well, unfortunately, I wasn't able to take notes on this because I wasn't able to watch the episode a second time in between live reactions in this review. So I don't know what was said exactly, but I do remember very specifically Antonio wanting to just kind of offer Jake the Gift of the Gods championship directly. I don't think he even literally offered him that. I think he literally just said, like, I want you to face the winner of the main event of Ultima Lucha. And Jake Strong said that he was going to earn his way into doing that. And then he offered him a medallion, and Jake, it seemed like, rejected it, but he ended up being in the match anyway. So I guess that he's just, a part of the Gift of the Gods field now.
Yeah, we see Antonio seems to have taken a real shine to Jake, and Jake coming in this suit.
You know what, though? You almost have to wonder if he is a part of the Order, if he was sent by the Order. I wonder if Antonio is aware of that, and, like, maybe he hasn't just randomly taken a shine to him. Maybe he's intentionally giving him favorable treatment.
Exactly. That's an excellent point. And you can see Jake kind of rebuke these advances and say, I'm going to earn the Lucha Underground Championship. I will become Lucha Underground Championship, but it won't be because of you. It'll be because of my own efforts. And the two things that he says that are very interesting to me are, one, I see all the sacrifices you've been feeding your son Matanza. Be sure to save some for me. And then as he gets up to walk out of the door, he says, oh, and Cueto, this isn't your temple anymore. It's mine.
Dude, it was like almost similar to like the kind of it sounded almost like Son of Havoc's voice, if we're being honest, because it was like this really deep, it's mine. Like it wasn't like a growly voice by any means. It was just really deep and demonic sounding.
Yeah, so he's definitely got something going on. I popped for it on live reactions. I know you didn't catch it the first time, but I was able to send.
Well, I mean, yeah. Unfortunately, I think you were actually talking when he said it on my end, so I couldn't hear him.
I do apologize for that, but I was able though to send you a clip so that you could hear it for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you ended up completely making up for it anyway, just by sending me the link so that I could hear it anyway. So, yeah.
So God, evil spirit, you know what?
I mean, definitely a god. I don't know about the whole send by the order thing. That's entirely possible as well, and the theory seems to be holding up so far. But yeah, definitely a god. Definitely inhabited by a god. It's just a matter of how it got there. And
that's one. It
wasn't the gauntlet, so we also are, probably going to find out about a new thing or a new method to getting gods in the bodies of mortals.
Yeah, man, that's one malevolent frog in the throat, I'll tell you. God damn, like that voice change, and I'm like, oh, so we really are doing this. Which, I still don't like you. I share your sentiments about not liking the person they chose for this, but it's much easier to have the medicine go down, like seeing his growth and his push, with this kind of explanatory framework. Because, I'm like, okay, well, at least that makes sense. And see, that's the thing. I can forgive a lot so long as what you're presenting to me within the confines of your universe and within the rules of your universe makes sense. And this does. So I'm going to back off a little bit with I still don't like the person they chose for it. And I still have my other, fandom gripes, is Cage going to come back? Why didn't Cage just get pushed all the way when he had the gauntlet and stuff like that? But, if he's a god, it makes sense because we've seen how dominant Matanza is, and even though we love Jeff Cobb and hate Jake Hager, it doesn't make him really any different, beyond that. Right. When you look at just the core aspect of God inhabiting human vessel and all that shit. So that was the opening cinematic. Do you have anything else you want to say about this before we move on?
No, man. We can move on to our first sort of in temple segment with Antonio introducing the gift of the gods and then introducing the 7 members of the field.
Yes, dude. Actually, you know what though? Before I break it down, because let me see if I remember all 7. Big Bad Steve.
Yep.
Jake Strong.
Yep.
Wait now. Dante Fox.
Yep.
King Cuerno.
Yep.
Okay, that's 4. Shit. Aerostar.
Yep.
Aerostar. Let me see who else. Fuck. No, it wasn't. I wanted Desmond X in it, but he wasn't in it. What'd you say?
Worldwide Underground had a rep.
Oh, PJ Black. Yep. And then returning. Oh, Hernandez.
Yep.
Hernandez. Yeah, okay. Thank you for the little hints. I'm glad you didn't explicitly give me any names. It shows my memory isn't totally going. But yeah. Yeah, I know, right? Hooray. Obviously, dude, I'm just going to say straight out of the gate since I handed you the first segment. So happy to see Dante. Oh, I don't care that he didn't end up winning the next segment. Sorry for jumping the gun, folks, but, whatever.
Dude, you realize not only was this the first time we've seen Dante all season, this is the first PJ Black match all season. Do you realize how robbed I feel?
Wow. Because now I'm thinking about it. Holy shit, dude. Our faves got done so dirt. Obviously, my fave being Johnny Mundo, but you know how much Dante grew on me last season. And wow. Yeah, that hurts. That hurts to think about with PJ and everything. So, PJ, Dante, King Cuerno still being in the hunt, pun totally intended, is just fantastic because that's another really...
Oh, you know what? PJ did have a match earlier in the season against Daga, and I think he was a part of the Tomikos match, too, with the Worldwide Underground against the Reptiles.
And, oh, wow, we got somebody on our video, Roy Neal Blanco, with I don't speak Spanish, so I'm wondering if that's like a spam comment or an actual Lucha Underground comment from somebody in Spanish. But that's really cool. Welcome. But I was reading the comments, and yeah, Javar's like, I'm rooting for Dante or Cuerno, and so am I. Those are the 2 big guys. Them and Aerostar. I'm pretty cool with this field. Big Bad Steve is kind of a weird choice to me. And yeah, I wanted to also touch on my hypothesis comment. If only we had time for qualifying matches. That's the real tragedy of shorter seasons when you've got to rush a little bit because you want to get to a bigger narrative point. If this was your usual 39 episode season, we would have done qualifying matches, and maybe we could have seen Big Bad Steve have a journey and see him grow and be like, yeah, he does deserve this spot. But just to see him thrown in, it's not that it's narratively bad on their end. It's just that we feel a bit cheapened because we love experiencing the journey. And I know that their hands are tied. They can't do much about that. It just kind of sucks. Do you have anything you want to say like about the field or about the whole ceremony before we get to the next aspect of this?
I don't think so, man. It really, I think that my biggest gripe wasn't necessarily, oh, we don't have time for qualifying matches, so you're just going to hand them out, which, that can be frustrating. But the more frustrating thing to me is the actual field that was chosen. Because like you said, like Big Bad Steve is a head scratcher. Hernandez, I would say, is a head scratcher. I love Hernandez. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to complain that he was in this match because I think he's freaking awesome. But why was he in this match? You know what I mean? Like last time we saw him, he was getting owned by Pentagon. And the last time we saw him before that, he was getting owned by Pentagon. So it was like a head scratcher. And I think the other 5 have their claims, but those are the 2 big like WTF ones for me. And why was Cage not in this?
Yeah, dude. If Hernandez and everybody could come back, plus Cage always says all the time, like, I'm not a man, I'm a machine. Does it really, I don't know, does it really take longer to repair an artificial limb as like a cyborg or whatever than having the human muscle and bone heal? I don't know. I miss Cage. I really do. His absence for me is felt. And it's interesting because, I know I'm all Johnny Mundo all the time, but I have said time and again on this podcast, I love that locker room. And it's really interesting, the people that I'm missing and that I want to see. Like, I miss the fuck out of Dante. He was my number 2 guy in season 3. Like, if it wasn't Johnny Mundo, Dante was doing everything for me because the dude's insane. And Cage, I've really loved since season 1. I think he's got the best story in the temple. Still has not been Lucha Underground champion or in that big time role. And to see him not in this, I feel like he got robbed a little bit here personally. So yeah, man, definitely a head scratcher for sure. This whole field. And again, it's only even more so because we didn't really get to experience their stories, them qualifying, cinematics of, why they need to win. Again, Aerostar is a very interesting case. Like, if you were to win this, I would love that because, of everything he's trying to do. But I want more story. That's where Lucha Underground excels. And I'm feeling very greedy, but only because, especially last season, we were so spoiled, I feel like. And it just, I don't know, it's kind of frustrating. But regardless, we do get our Battle Royal. And Ashley, what do you think about this Battle Royal, man?
Battle Royal was another kind of short, pointless kind of thing, and it was literally made futile completely in the end because, I want to say our first elimination was Big Bad Steve, then Hernandez, then PJ and Cuerno at the same time, I think.
Yeah, by Dante's drop kick because Jake Strong vaulted him over.
Yeah, then God, who was left after that?
It was Jake Strong and Dante, right, as the 2 left.
Yeah, but there was, I think it was PJ in the final 3, and then he got eliminated by
no, because what, didn't you just say that he got eliminated with Cuerno and that was a little drop kick?
Oh, no, that's right. It was Aerostar. I'm thinking of Aerostar. Aerostar was in the final 3, I think, or maybe he was the 3rd person eliminated. I don't remember the order. But it did come down to Jake and Dante put up a fight, but Jake is just too OP, so he threw him over easily.
God, this is a weird episode for me because the 2 guys that I love, again, the 2 guys that made my season 3, leading guy number 1 in Mundo and right behind number 2, Dante Fox, both had like heartbreaking interactions with Jake Strong tonight.
Yeah.
Dante, though, I gotta tell you, man, how he avoided elimination with like that flip around the ropes and landing on the apron. I fucking miss this man. And it's funny because like having him here for this little taste might have actually been worse than just when he was absent, because when he was absent, I learned to deal. And then you give me this little taste to remind me how brilliant he is. And I'm just like, more. And it's just like, whoa, calm down there. So I am going to see him next week because Jake Strong, and this is kind of where you get to the whole pointless thing. Obviously, when they did Give It to the Gods this way last time, which, dude, personally, I just want to say this too. because I'm hearing stuff about season 5, assuming it is greenlit and they have more stability next season than what they clearly had to work with this season. I personally hope they never do this stuff again with Gift of the Gods. I like the older way better, where you just earn the medallions and you just have the big matchup. I don't know. I really didn't care for these changes too much. The first way they did it wasn't bad, but then you go and you make it even weirder here, because it's like, oh, Jake, who are you eliminating to make 6 to survive next week? Oh, nobody, because I want to destroy every last one of them. So you had him win, only to say, hey, this is your field. So I guess to give Jake momentum.
Yeah, that's the thing. It really was just done for the sake of making Jake look strong, as if we needed him to look any stronger.
Yeah, dude, I never want to be uncharitable with my criticisms of the product or people that are, making the product what it is. But I didn't understand why we did this. I would have been, well, you couldn't have done that because it was 7 people, but I would have been happy with, I don't know, maybe the 2, like a trios tag match or something, or maybe even like a standard tag match, and then the other 3 people do a triple threat or something. Just a different showcase than a battle royal, especially because, again, I got a little taste of Dante Fox, and then I was just utterly deprived. So, yeah, Jake wins, and he doesn't change a single thing about the field. So, there you go. Nothing more to say than that. Unless you have anything you want to add, we can move on.
All right, man, let's move on. Up next, we had our second match of the night, which was the Mac versus Killshot. And this match was a lot of fun. It was really, really entertaining, but it didn't really have a proper finish because Mil Muertes came out and beat down the Mac. And then naturally, Son of Havoc, who was watching the match from the higher up area in the temple, came down to try and save the Mac, but ended up getting beat down himself, mostly because of Mil. I really want this tag team match, but we don't have enough time for it, I don't think, because 6 to survive last season, which is, we're getting 7 to survive next week between the 7 Gift of the Gods members. 6 to survive last season was a 1 show, 1 match kind of format. So unless they're planning on changing that and having multiple matches next week, that's going to be the only match that we get all week next week. And then the following week is Ultima Lucha already. So I really want Killshot and Mil to team up to take on the Mac and Son of Havoc, but it's looking extremely unlikely, if not downright impossible.
You pretty much answered the question I was going to open with, because I was just during live reactions, kind of smiling to myself, seeing your 2 faves in Lucha Underground teaming up to beat ass. That must have been so great to watch them just laying waste to everybody. Dude, that is one thing that season 4 has given me. I love, not necessarily the strange bedfellow team-ups, but just badasses teaming up. We got to finally see Phoenix and Mil on the same page this season, with Phoenix going dark, and now Killshot being heel and Mil just being this destructive force. They happen to be, in the same area with similar causes, so they teamed up, and it's been great. It's been fantastic, man. Seeing Mil socialize beyond Katrina and seeing the friends he's making. It was awesome. Can't really say much about the match because it wasn't long before everything imploded. But Killshot, man, I say again, just so good. I can't wait for his Mask versus Mask match with Son of Havoc. And that's why, I got to be honest, I want season 4 to end strong, not because I want us to, have an amazing Ultima Lucha to go out on and stuff like that, which I certainly do. But, I really want season 5 to have a strong foundation to be the season it wants to be, because you're going to have reverberations from season 4, a Lucha Underground champion, whether it be Marty or Pentagon regaining it in gruesome fashion. Either Son of Havoc or Killshot's going to be unmasked. Trios division is getting a bit more interesting. I think that's something else that season 4 accomplished to its credit. So you do have good stuff going on. I just want season 5 to really have the ability to let it all breathe so that it can reach its full potential. Because, man, you get this good shit, and it's are they really going to be able to tell the stories they want to tell, or are they going to have to abridge it for, convenience because of network conflicts and shit like that? So I'm really hoping things work out. But, yeah, Mil stands tall again. Him and the Mac in their death match should be very interesting. And Killshot, man, he's a bad bitch, and he loves it, and I love it, and he's a future world champion, and I could gush about it all day. So that's all I can really say about that. Unless you have anything else you want to say, we can move on.
No, I don't think I have anything else to add. I will say, though, as far as just kind of backtracking a little bit, as far as Cage not being in the Gift of the Gods match, the last time we witnessed somebody get both of their arms broken in Lucha Underground, it was Pentagon in season 3. He had his arms broken in episode 13, and he returned in episode 22. So, and the thing is, we had the big, long ass, like 5 or 6 month break in between those episodes, too. So he was gone from a kayfabe perspective for like what it probably amounted to like 7 or 8 months.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, though. I'm going to put you on the spot on one thing. Since I know we're not doing we aren't doing preview predictions for Ultima Lucha, are we? Or are we?
Yes, we are.
Oh, we are. Okay, you know what?
Yes.
I'm gonna save my question then. Forget it. But in the meantime, I do think
write it down or something so you don't forget to ask.
No, I think I'll remember because it's been on my mind a little bit here. But yeah, I probably will write it down somewhere. But regardless, thank you for that little note. But what did come after this?
After the Matt Killshot Mill Son of Havoc stuff was Evilise and Exolicious in the ring talking about how Joey Ryan won't be healthy in time to battle for the Trios Championships against the Reptile and Rabbit tribes. So they introduce a new partner, Sammy Guevara. However, Famous B comes out and claims that Sammy still has an exclusive 7-year contract with Infamous Incorporated, and Famous B is going to put out a cease and desist to Evilise and Exolicious for trying to sort of, I mean, not really, but technically, I guess, employ Sammy as their partner. And that if Sammy wants to compete at Ultima Lucha, he can team with Dr. Wagner Jr. and Tejano, but he can't be teaming with other people because he's still, Famous B says, I still own you, basically.
First of all, I love Famous B so much. Yes. Second of all, there's actually, to me, more to unpack here than what might meet the eye. Just to kind of get the ball rolling, though, I want to kind of hear your perspective first. What do you think of this new makeshift team of Exo, Evilise, and Sammy Guevara? What do you think?
I love it. I think it's really cool. I thought that Exo, Evilise, and Joey Ryan was really interesting because it seemed like Joey Ryan kind of had a crush on Exo, and Evilise just kind of had to tolerate Joey's bullshit because he was actually trying to do good. But now Sammy G fits like a glove. Like, it's a perfect fit in my eyes.
Of all the people that I didn't think were going to be returning because talent's been such a precarious thing this season, Sammy Guevara is actually a pleasant surprise. I know for me, I was kind of pulling for Desmond Xavier because I actually really liked him on Lucha Underground. I do hope we see more of him. I hope it's not the end. Maybe he'll have more of a stable position in season 5. I don't know. But I do like this team as well. And I actually do want to talk about this now because I don't think this is going to in any way sully our Ultima Lucha preview and predictions. This whole Famous B contract thing, do you think it could be at all possible that, say this makeshift team actually pulls off the win, right, and becomes Trios champions, that Famous B comes out and either A, says that because Sammy, just because you throw a contract in the trash doesn't mean it invalidates it, but that tag title win is invalid because, you're still my representative, or what I think could be even more interesting, since you're property of Famous B Incorporated, that tag title comes with us, and so maybe he manages to rope in Evilise and Exo into Famous Inc. Do you think that's a possibility? Because I don't think this is over.
By the way, it's Infamous Inc.
Infamous Incorporated, but you get pretty much what I'm asking.
Yeah, I do. I get what you're saying, and it's definitely an interesting sort of possible thread that they could play with. I don't know if this trio is going to actually win the trios titles. I kind of feel much more inclined to say the Rabbit Tribe will. But if they do, it could definitely make for an interesting situation because, there are so many different ways that they could kind of roll with that, whether they want to do, like you said, Famous B trying to rope Exo and Evilise into his stable or, trying to take legal action or something like that, or saying well, we own, since Sammy G won the trios titles under the Infamous Incorporated umbrella, those trios titles belong to Infamous Incorporated. So I will hand over Sammy's contract to you if you give us those trios titles. And then it can be maybe Big Bad Steve, Tejano, and Wagner or something like that. Or maybe even just Famous B, Wagner and Tejano or something along those lines. We'll see. Or hell, maybe the reason they don't win the trios titles and the Rabbit Tribe does is because Tejano and Dr. Wagner Jr. attack them during the match. You never know.
Yeah, yeah. I just, to me, I guess what I'm getting at is I don't see this as being over by a long shot, and I think they do have something very interesting that they could do here from a variety of angles. And again, that is actually where I will praise season 4 a little bit. I think this has been one of the kinder seasons to the trios division, personally, and I hope that they can build on that momentum with season 5. So we'll have to wait and see. But what came after this, man?
After this, we had our main event: Jake Strong, Johnny Mundo. I'm gonna let.
Uh, well, you already probably know where I'm gonna go with it, so I want you to go first.
Okay, well, it was, really, I know you said that it was Jake Strong's best match earlier, and I feel like that's almost just because it's by default, because it's the only match that he's had that's gone longer than like 2 minutes or wasn't a no selling catastrophe in the fucking nunchuck shit. I didn't like that match at all. That match pissed me off more than anything. But yeah, so it's really not, it's not like it had a ton of competition as far as being his best match, and it still wasn't a good match in my eyes. And it was, I think you could make a legitimate argument that it was one of Johnny Mundo's least entertaining matches that he's ever had in Lucha Underground. Would you agree with that?
I think to a point, yeah. Because when you look at the people he's gotten to work with, I mean, let's just be fair here. Johnny Mundo got to work with the likes of Prince Puma, aka Ricochet, who you could make the argument is the best high flyer in the world. I'm sure Will Ospreay side-eyeing me somewhere, but I think a debate could certainly be had. And other talents too. I mean, hell, even Sexy Star, regardless of my criticism of Sexy, as a character, I think she was a good kind of foil for Mundo for their whole mini feud. Mac was fun. Really, I think everybody that Mundo's worked with on some level. Hell, even Alberto Del Bitchbag. Because for me, I had that personal side of, he never beat him in WWE, and he squashed him in WWE, so I was looking for Mundo to get the win back. There was always some kind of incentive for me to get more. So, yeah, I could agree as far as least interesting, yeah. But anything else you want to say about this match before I kind of take the reins here?
No, I don't think so. When I start hemming and hawing, it means I don't have anything else left to say. So you can go.
Yeah, all right. That's fair. I will give now obviously, of course, I'm always gonna be a bit biased when I talk about it. Anybody that's listened to this podcast or just knows me personally, you guys know how much I love Johnny Mundo, goes without saying. But I really do feel like he made Jake look great here with the selling. And again, having a longer match, I think just made Jake look better because of how Mundo's gonna bump and make certain things look. And he's gonna, fight his heart out and really make Jake look like a threat. One great moment was when Mundo was trying to evade Jake and create that distance, and Jake's trying to get over the guardrail, and Mundo's punching him in the face, and Jake's no-selling, and at one point Mundo just makes a face like, oh, shit, this guy ain't normal. Something's definitely up here. And then that parkour leap he did from one side to the other, I thought that was really cool. The avalanche belly-to-belly that Jake did, that Mundo, kind of sold like death, that came off looking good. The countdown to impact elbow, really likes it. I didn't think I was going to see that in a Lucha Underground ring because, even with Johnny, I really don't watch much Impact. I'm going to try and get into it for him now that he's world champion. Hasn't been easy. So seeing that elbow was cool. Liked the strong lock spots, because Mundo clearly showing a lot of heart as the babyface, not wanting to give it up. And I love, too, how he managed to get the low blow. It's probably one of the more clever low blows I've seen as a wrestling fan. So that kind of made me smile to know that he was able to pull that off. Just shows you, that athleticism and flexibility and all that. The end of the world on one leg. Again, him being a babyface, even in WWE, one of the things I liked about him as a babyface, because the promos, it was a trade-off. You're not going to get the best promos, but I'd even say that he's improved in that area, since then. But his selling and his vulnerability, like him limping to that corner and doing a one-legged end of the world, it just shows you the desperation to win this match, but not desperate in the sense of I'm going to cheat, but I've got to push my heart to its limit and really get to that place. So I thought that was really cool. Jake kicking out, protects the finish because Mundo wasn't able to cover right away, but it also says again that Jake isn't really to be trifled with. And then really too, for as much as I hated on live reactions because I'm more in that fandom mode, if you really wanted to make Jake Strong, this new god character, seem threatening, you really did it in the best way because after the kick out, when he immediately goes back to the ankle and does get the submission, I think that came off really well, really made Jake look strong. And Mundo, again, I don't think he looks any weaker for this for me because he survived so many ankle lock attempts before finally giving it up. Again, I think he sold really well for Jake. I think, again, Jake's best match, not even just in terms of length and like in ring, but really making him look like a force because Johnny is not only a former Lucha Underground champion, but the second ever Triple Crown champion. So, and really, I can't have sour grapes because it's somebody that I don't like. I did say that when Mundo dropped the world title, I wanted to see him work with other guys. I wanted to see him legitimize the talent. And that's really kind of what he did here. And I think he did it well. So I enjoyed the main event. And then we get the post-match, which just gets me even more excited for Johnny's Ultima Lucha match because Jake keeps the strong lock locked in. And then Matanza comes in. Jake backs up, and Matanza just begins mauling him to the point where he's busted open. And then Taya comes in to try and defend her man, which obviously doesn't work because she gets hit with Wrath of the Gods. And then the show ends with a bloody Johnny and just a worn-out Taya just reaching for each other in the middle of the canvas, like between the Aztec seal, as we cut to black. I think
this was like a perfect opportunity to kind of get Johnny to realize that he's outmatched by all these fucking gods.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think, and I'm glad you said that because I think the big thing this segment accomplished, besides, again, further legitimizing Jake Strong as this new god entity, would be to show Johnny's vulnerability of like, man, I got my ass kicked. I've never had a beating like that. I need a bit of an edge. I'm still curious about the context with which he comes into contact with the gauntlet. I still think Aerostar is going to
I have a hint, by the way. I just actually earlier today I read the TV guide description for the next episode, and it suggested. Let me read it now. Let's see. Johnny Mundo gets some help. So when it says Johnny Mundo gets some help, I'm thinking Aerostar is going to help him out because it was already implied earlier in the season by Cuerno that Aerostar was the one that he gave the gauntlet to hide. I bet you in return for helping him get Drago back, Aerostar is going to help Johnny become or at least gain the powers of a god.
Now, I have to say this because I feel like I'd be unfair if I didn't, even though I'm a Mundo Mark. I'd love Mundo to win every match. Aerostar hasn't been making the best judgment lately.
No.
And I
think that this would continue that trend because sure, he has the power to maybe potentially beat and sacrifice Matanza, but at what cost?
I'd say, dude, I wasn't even just thinking about that. Like, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. I'm worried about that too, but also fascinated by it because Mundo having this kind of a character evolution, I don't know, it just really excites me. But even more so, let's not forget, Ashton, Antonio was looking for that gauntlet earlier in the season. That's why Cuerno was so, blasé about it, because, he knows Aerostar knows. But now that the gauntlet has visibility again, that also raises Antonio's attention, and that can never be good. So even outside of the fact,
what's he going to do, though? Because that's the thing. If Johnny beats Matanza, he'll sacrifice him, and he won't be around. So what the hell is Antonio even going to do at that point? He won't have his literal god of a bodyguard.
And see, that's where I think Antonio as a character becomes interesting. This whole thing with Johnny, it's a deceptively closed off storyline because you'd think, oh wow, it's just Johnny defending his friends that he's lost and the love of his life and stuff like that. But when you introduce the Gauntlet of the Gods, it becomes so much wider than that because Antonio is going to be apoplectic, to use a Morrow term, right? If he sees not only that Matanza's been sacrificed to the gods, which, holy fuck, dude, what a power-up than cannibalizing one of your own, but that Johnny has the gauntlet that he was looking for, and now he doesn't even have the muscle to take it. So he's down one son and a gauntlet. Holy fuck. And, here's the thing, dude. Here's the thing. If Winner was so easily able to dispose of Dario, how is that going to make Antonio look to the Order and just all those guys? You couldn't find the gauntlet, and you let that guy wear it, and now we've lost Matanza too. He's going to have a lot to answer for, dude. This match, man, I can't wait, because it's not just Johnny Mundo competing against Matanza, which I've wanted for a long time. It's more the narrative implications of a lot, I think, changes in the Temple after this, for better and for worse. So, I don't know, man. What do you think? How far do you think this shit's going to go?
I don't know. I really, and yeah, it feels like a situation where Mundo is going to get the gauntlet. He's going to gain those godlike powers. He's going to sacrifice Matanza. And then, the only reason that we even feel any relative confidence saying that is because Jeff Cobb has a Ring of Honor contract now. And then, yeah, like that's where it gets interesting is after Matanza's out of the picture, because Antonio is going to want the gauntlet. But at the same time, the Order is going to want the gauntlet, which means that Jake is going to go after Johnny if he is representing the Order, which again is still speculation, but it feels very likely. And even if he isn't, then the Lord would probably want to go after Johnny for the gauntlet. Like there's a lot of implications going on there. Or, I mean, then there's also this idea that would Johnny be able to kind of maintain his humanity? And then that kind of drives you towards the question of like, if he becomes this god, if he gains these god powers, and then is able to sacrifice Matanza, who is also a god, would he then gain Matanza's powers as well? Since it's kind of implied that sacrificing makes Matanza stronger. And then if so, would that be just too much power for Johnny Mundo to even still be Johnny Mundo? Would he just be this like godly thing? And like, I don't know, man, because then you've also got to remember that like you can't imagine Aerostar is just going to give him the gauntlet. He's probably going to loan it to him and be like, here, use this to take care of Matanza, and then expect it back so that he can hide it again so that it doesn't fall into the wrong hands. But would Johnny be willing to give it back after feeling that much power?
And one, I don't think he would. And here's a question I have for you that I've thought about. We keep saying sacrificing to the gods. Like, the gods themselves as entities, we can't really... I think it would be wrong to perceive them as passive in this whole thing. Because they're being fed. So what happens when they get full? And I wasn't even kidding about, like, the whole cannibalizing. Because, Matanza's a human vessel, sure, but there's a god in there. So the gods are eating one of their own. Like... And when I say what a power-up, like, what happens after that? Because we talked about the gods and the influence they have on the temple and the mythology. What happens after that? Like, I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I'm being serious. Like, do the floodgates open? Is it really, like, the beginning of that huge struggle that's been hinted at? Because if Matanza gets sacrificed, which, again, as you've noted, very real possibility, or even if Mundo gets sacrificed, but with that gauntlet, it's a huge power-up either way. I'd say more so Matanza, but I digress. And, like, what do you do with that? Because Antonio couldn't have just been sacrificing to the gods for no reason. There's always an intent with everything. It's not just sport for him. I refuse to believe that. So what happens when the sacrifices have kind of reached their threshold, when you've hit your target, so to speak? That's another thing I'm really curious about. See, this is where Lucha Underground is at its best. Not just these matches that are like, oh, these two forces colliding. That's really interesting. But the narrative repercussions. And to be perfectly honest, this match may have the most narrative repercussions of any match on the Ultima Lucha card to me.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, wow. I am so ready for this.
Dude, that's what I'm saying too, is like, don't get me wrong, the matches are going to be fun, but the thing that I'm looking most forward to at Ultima Lucha is the cinematics and more like story stuff, because we've been painfully deprived of that for most of this season, to the point that even just tonight's episode with Jake in Cueto's office and having that little bit of a revelation that he's more than human, that was like the most satisfying thing. That was like such a satiating thing. But like, I just want more of it. And I want bombshells, damn it. Like I want big things to happen. And I think we are going to have to wait until episode 22 for something really, truly big to happen. Although I'm hoping that we get something reasonably big on episode 21 as well.
Oh, dude, I just thought of something else too with the whole Mundo gauntlet thing. Because see, now my mind's racing at 1,000,000 miles per hour.
Before you say that, I do also want to say it looks like episode 22 is going to be another 2-hour special.
Nice. That's really cool. That's really cool. Just thinking about Ricky Mundo's whole obsession with Johnny, but Rosa being in his ear. What if Rosa wants the gauntlet? Because, like, Johnny's going to change, and that's probably going to change the dynamic between him and Ricky as well. I'm just wondering, like, how many threats are looming that we just don't even know about? Because I'm worried about Antonio, worried about the gods being fed. I'm always worried about the order. Jake Strong, you know, if Mundo's feeling so intoxicated about power, he may want to go back and give Jake Strong some, but Strong's not going to back down, obviously. And then we've got Rosa the fucking doll. Like, oh my God.
Oh, and Marty the Moth Martinez is in chat. He said something earlier, and we both replied to him, but he just said, "Yep, it is." So that's confirmation. Episode 22 is a 2-hour special, and that's huge news because I like to look on like the TV guide descriptions of these episodes to get an idea of what's going to happen. And Ultima Lucha Quattro Part 2 is just loaded. Like it's got. Azteca versus Phoenix, Mac versus Muertes, Mundo Matanza, and Pentagon Marty, all on that show. And there's also some narrative stuff that it's talking about on here that might be a little spoilery that I don't want to talk about yet. But yeah, man, episode 22 looks absolutely freaking loaded.
I'm really glad we got to have this discussion. I'm like, I know we're ready to move on until I brought up the whole Ricky thing. I'm just so excited about this, dude. Like, these are the kinds of conversations I love having on the podcast that show that Lucha Underground is the best thing going because, like, all of the possibilities, and it's really just a matter of which one does Lucha Underground want to pick, or, as is solved in the case of Lucha Underground, it's like, well, you presented a lot of these, but here's one that you didn't see that we're going to smack on the table right now, and this is the one we're going with, and it's like, holy shit, that's amazing. So, yeah, as if I wasn't hyped enough for Mundo Matanza, when I really appreciate the narrative weight of it, holy fuck. So, that was the main event. That was the ending segment. Do you have anything else you want to say about this or just Lucha Underground in general before we move on?
No, I don't. We can move on.
All right, guys. Well, before we get to our final segment, as you all know, quick plugs. First of all, the All Lucha Underground Content Ever playlist, whether you're new to the podcast or not, and no matter how long you've been watching our Lucha Underground reviews, if you want to go back and relive some of our best moments, such as my markouts, Ashton's opinions, whatever you like from our Lucha Underground discussions. It's all right there in the All Lucha Underground Content Ever playlist. Check it out. Be sure to follow Ashton on Twitter. His pinned tweet is the TWitWoW schedule for the month of October. Every month, Ashton has his pinned tweet as the TWitWoW schedule for all the recordings that we're going to do. And you're going to want to stay on top of it because you never know because of Patreon requests. Recordings get added, times get changed, recordings get subtracted altogether. We're always very busy here at Team TWitWoW. So if you want to stay on top of it, the best thing you could do is follow Ashton and follow that pinned tweet. My pinned tweet, on the other hand, is to collect Q&A questions. Q&A is October 25th. You have exactly 1 week to submit Q&A questions. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, best places to submit your Q&A questions. Everybody's permitted up to 4 questions per Q&A. You can divide them up however you like. The Teespring store, we have a lot of offerings. We have TWitWoW specific merch. I'm a TWitWoW guy. I'm a TWitWoW girl. T-shirts. Scum Squad for my heel faction. And when you enjoy bullying, the Scum Squad's the place for you. We have Scum Squad stickers, a T-shirt, and a mug to drink all the tears of your enemies. Delicious. And we also have wrestling-specific merch, everything from Kevin Owens to Braun Strowman to Naito to Emma. All of it's right there at the Teespring. Check it out. See what fits for you. See what you like. And finally, the TWitWoW Patreon. Guys, our new Patreon goal, $120, same as the old goal when we used to do Progress Live reactions. But now it's to do both 205 Live and SmackDown Live reactions for every month. We didn't hit that goal this month. The only reason we're still doing 205 Live reactions is because of the generosity of Super Blue, which we greatly appreciate. But if you want to ensure that for the month of November, it doesn't come down to one patron's generosity, but that as a community, we reach this goal and we can still enjoy this experience together. How can you help? The best thing you can do is donate $3 and join the TWitWoW Discord, what I call the Ultimate Fan Server Experience. There you will find Ashton and myself, as well as the most passionate TWitWoW fans, and you can discuss virtually anything in the TWitWoW Discord. It's a very passionate community, to say the least, very excited community. And beyond those $3 that you donate to get that membership, for every month you maintain your membership, that $3 grows. So $3 in due time could become $30. And you may say to yourself, well, that's nice, but what can I do with it? You can get content control. We've been doing a lot of Patreon requests lately. You can go on the Patreon and see the price breakdowns below for, what content we'll do at what rate. We even did death matches, which are double. But our TWitWoW fan, Brandon Best, requested it, and it was from funds he saved up. So there's a lot you can do if you just stay patient. You know, you maintain your Discord membership, and then you could have us do WCW, ECW, whatever the hell kind of shows. And yeah, I think it's an amazing experience. I always call it a win-win-win-win. So yeah, guys, please do consider donating to the Patreon if you haven't. We greatly appreciate it. So with that said, let's get to our final segment, high spots and low shots. And Ashton, I'm going to need to be consoled because I always try and be a fair person on this podcast. So being fair, my low shot is Johnny Mundo. It's a very difficult time for me.
Sorry.
I know. It's okay. I know that me and Johnny and Ty and the rest of the world, we will make, except for Ricky, fuck you, Ricky. We will make it through this. We will make it through this. He just had a really bad night. Jake Strong beat him, and he got bloodied up by Matanza, and he had to watch his wife get hit with Wrath of the Gods. You know, it's usually never a bad day to be Johnny Mundo, but I guess rule meet exception, so to speak. So Johnny's my low shot, but I have every confidence that he will bounce back and he will take Matanza to Slamtown come Ultima Lucha.
Yeah, so, he had to hit this low point so that he could get motivated to try harder.
Exactly. So,
and watch out, world, because Johnny Mundo is kind of like Frieza. If he actually wants to try, you're fucked.
Exactly. So, who is your low shot?
My low shot is going to go to oh shit. You know what? I'm actually going to give my low shot to the Mac because, you know, he was, you know, it was looking a little bit like he might have had a leg up on Killshot, but then he got just destroyed by Mill. And Mill has really had his number at every single turn of the build to this death match, and Mill is undefeated in death matches. So, yeah, good luck.
Yeah, my sentiments pretty much to you. Good luck to you. High spot, I'll be honest, is a bit more difficult. But you know what? I'm going to go with Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara, even though I don't think his problems are necessarily over, looking at it in the context of purely this one night, he kicked Famous B to the curb. Famous B, who never really got him much. And now Sammy, who really hasn't been like a regular this season. He's been kind of in and out. But he finds himself competing for the Trios Championships at Ultima Lucha with Exolicious and Ivelisse. So I think this is an amazing opportunity for Sammy and, you know, very exciting time for him. So I think Sammy Guevara is going to be my high spot.
Nice. I dig it, man. I dig it. As far as my high spot goes, it pains me to do this, but you said he had his best match ever, and we got some backstory, and we found out that he's more than human, so I'll give my high spot to Jake Strong.
It's been a hard segment for both of us, huh? Yeah. We'll be okay, though. We'll be okay. But, yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, man. One of us, I think, had to give it to him, to be fair. And And
you put the onus on me.
I already had to take one cut on the soul by giving Johnny Mundo my low shot. I just had to spread it.
Yeah, I took the bullet for you, bud.
I appreciate it. But no, in all seriousness, you are certainly right. I mean, when we say it was a Jake Strong episode, it's in more ways than one. Because
I feel like anytime an episode is named after someone, they usually have a really shitty night. But in this case, it was the opposite. Damn it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, when you think about it, he got a cinematic.
Yeah.
He's in Gift of the Gods. He won a Battle Royal and is so confident he didn't even use the power that came with it. And then in the main event, he makes Johnny Mundo, again, a former Lucha Underground champion and second ever Triple Crown champion, tap out.
Yeah.
Like, this was his night. It's undeniable. If I was really being fair, it would be a co-high spot, honestly, because Jesus Christ. But, yeah, man, I completely understand. So, with that said, this has been Lucha Underground. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my coordinating commentary. Guys, be sure to comment on the video when it's done processing. What did you think about this episode of Lucha Underground? What do you think about the revelation, which I think we pretty much all knew that Jake Strong is, in fact, another god character, akin to Matanza? Do you think this makes the character more forgivable in terms of booking? Do you like Jake Strong anymore in light of this revelation? Does it not move the needle for you one way or the other? What do you think? Who do you want to win Gift of the Gods? That's my big question this week. Knowing we're doing Gift of the Gods and knowing we're going to have a new champion and assuming that they're not going to be an idiot like Azteca and throw their opportunity away, who among the field would you like to see with the Gift of the Gods Championship? I'd be very curious to hear from you guys about that. Talk to us. Be sure to like the video. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top search result for Lucha Underground reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like, subscribe to your new favorite wrestling podcast if you haven't, and click the bell icon for notifications so that you never again miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. And until then, guys, we will see you again. When are we seeing them again, Ashton?
Tuesday
for, I'm guessing, just SmackDown live reactions as we're on the road to WWE Evolution. It's going to be next week, so that'll be the SmackDown go home show for that pay-per-view, and then more stuff to come after that. But that's the earliest that you'll see us again, Tuesday for SmackDown live reactions. That's 8 p.m. Eastern time, so we hope to see you there. And until then, guys, tune in and peace out.